Our next speaker, Cliff Boer. The Timeline. The Timeline, Cliff Boer.
It's about time. Time. The only thing that you ever really own. The only thing that you ever actually get to spend. And when you've spent it all, there's nothing left. Madam Chairman, Toastmasters and guests, if you think about it carefully, we exchange time for everything. Whether it's money, goods, entertainment, relationships, self-development, it is all an exchange of time. So I'd like to look a little more closely at time, and I'd ask you to come with me for a little journey on my time machine. Join me, this will be fun. But you're going to have to turn your ears up a gear because my time machine travels really fast. It starts here, and it ends over there where you see that post. And it goes like this. At first, you're born. You learn to drink, you learn to crawl, you learn to walk, you learn to talk. Then they send you off to primary school. In primary school, you learn reading and writing and arithmetic. And one day you graduate from primary school, yippee, and you go to high school. And at high school, they teach you geometry, trigonometry, schmigonometry, anything else they can stick in your head. And yes, you graduate from high school. And then it's college. And at college, you work hard, you play hard, you drink hard. And one day you graduate and you go out there with a profession and you get yourself a job and there's money in your pocket. And you find yourself a sweetheart and you get married and you settle down, you have children. And the babies come along and they learn to crawl and walk and talk and all the things that you were doing before. And your parents are now getting a little old and they're asking for a bit of help around the house with the painting and the cleaning and doing the lawns and things. And your children are now getting to the difficult age. And they get through the difficult age and now you need more money for their extra education. So you get a promotion, you get more money, woo! You keep them going, then it turns out your kids are getting a little older now, your parents have gone into an old people's home, your children are now getting to the stage where they're getting married and having babies of their own, and they're learning to walk and crawl and talk, and suddenly you find your parents are dead, you're asking your children to help you around the house, and then the next thing you know, you suddenly end up in an old people's home yourself, and then you're dead. And just before you die, you look back and say, what the heck was that? Well, that is the timeline, ladies and gentlemen. But if you look after your cholesterol and your sugar and your blood pressure, and if you don't smoke and you don't drink too much and you don't drive too fast, you might be able to extend your timeline a little. But then, fate lends a hand. And when you least expect it, this timeline can end anyway. Recently, I had a very close, death-defying event. I nearly had my timeline end, I would say, I guess, somewhere around about here. And no, I wasn't doing my icebreaker. Or any other speech for that matter. The headline said, 2 men cheat death at the blowholes. Another headline said, tourist risks life to save fishermen. Well, I was the tourist. In southwestern Australia, a young fisherman had gotten washed off some rocks at the base of a set of cliffs into a raging sea, and he was in desperate trouble. And I decided to go in and save him when he looked like he was about to drown. Now you're probably saying to yourself, you're mad, what'd you do that for? That's crazy. Hey, I'm a Toastmaster. We'll do anything for a good story. Hey, I got the international speech coming up. Yeah, I know. I'll go in and save him. Well, it turned out the young man got thrown onto the rocks by a big wave. He was severely injured, but he survived. And unfortunately, a really big rip got hold of me, and I was swept out to sea and ended up fighting for my own life. And after a very long period of time, when I was utterly exhausted, I had no oxygen, I couldn't breathe properly, I couldn't swim properly, I was suffering from severe cold, and I knew this was the end for me. And I turned and saw a huge wave coming straight at me, and I knew that's the last wave I'm ever going to see. Well, it turned out that this wave grabbed me and threw me violently underwater, and instead of killing me, it saved my life. Standing on the shore was 30 or 40 people, my wife included, and this wave carried me over 100 yards underwater, and I washed up on the shore into the waiting arms of people that grabbed me and pulled me out onto the shoreline. Now, here's the amazing part. I had always believed that I was bulletproof until the moment that I saw that wave coming at me, and then I knew for the first time I wasn't bulletproof after all. Until I washed up on the shore and survived. Now I know I'm bulletproof. Let me put my timeline back where it belongs. The experience is amazing because just before you are about to die, and I really believed that I was dead, finished, gone, you suddenly see your life crystallize before your eyes in a manner that is indescribable. And those of you that have had a genuine death-defying experience will know exactly what I am talking about. You suddenly realize the goals you hadn't achieved. You realize the things that you spent your time on that were a complete and utter waste of time in the big scheme of things. You realize the things you should have been doing. That is a profound moment. Now, ladies and gentlemen, my message that I bring back from the timeline to you is this. Your time is precious. It's valuable. It's all you have. And you want to spend it on the most important things in your life. And those things may be climbing a mountain. It may be smelling more roses. It may be spending time with family and friends. Do you know what? Everybody here, every one of you, has the same gift of time that I was granted when I survived. Your timeline is there. All you need to do is spend just a little of that valuable resource that you all own to think about what you should do. And when should you do it? Do it now. Why? Because it's about time. Madam Chair.